because Muslims love to tell us that Muhammad jumped on the back of Al-Buraq, and he went from Mecca, supposedly, from Masjid al-Haram to the farthest mosque, Al-Aqsa Mosque.
Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem. But that is impossible because Al-Aqsa Mosque didn't even exist during Muhammad's lifetime. We'll tell you which mosque he really visited.
Welcome to Events and History, where we explore the origins, teachings, and historical development of Islam with a fact-based, analytical approach. What if one of the most famous Islamic stories wasn't what you thought it was? Muslims are taught that Muhammad's miraculous night journey took him to Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque, where he ascended into heaven. But history tells a different story. The Al-Aqsa Mosque wasn't even built until decades after Muhammad's death, if he ever lived, according to their standard Islamic narrative. So what mosque did he really visit? In this video, Fadi and Rob Christian dig into the Islamic sources themselves, uncovering where the original Al-Aqsa was located and why later generations may have altered the story. If you've ever wondered whether the traditional narrative holds up to historical scrutiny, stay tuned. The answer may shake the foundations of what many have believed for centuries. The Islam of the standard Islamic narrative is a lie. Let's watch the video.
If you're a Muslim person, we want to welcome you, and we hope that you can interact with us and respond back to the specific evidence that we are sharing with you. Today, for instance, we want to talk about the real, basically, Aqsa Mosque. And the question is this: did Muhammad really visit the Aqsa Mosque? Why are we bringing it up? Because chapter 17 of the Quran is dedicated to this alleged journey that Muhammad was taken, and whether in body or in spirit, first from Mecca to what we call today Al-Quds, or Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, that's to the specific location, and then he ascended from there to heaven, Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj. But Rob, is that really what happened? I mean, there was no such thing as Al-Aqsa Mosque when Muhammad actually alleged this whole thing, because he died in 632. Historically speaking, Al-Aqsa Mosque, or at least the compound itself, was being built in 691, and the Dome of the Rock itself was finished by the son of that caliph, basically Abdul Malik. His son is the one that finished it after his death, the death of Abdul Malik in 705.
Exactly, and this is a very important topic because Muslims love to tell us that Muhammad jumped on the back of Al-Buraq, and he went from Mecca, supposedly, from Masjid al-Haram to the farthest mosque, Al-Aqsa Mosque. And he did that on the back of Al-Buraq, as you already mentioned, brother, a hybrid kind of creature that looks like a human, but with the body, the shape of a mule or a donkey. So the story goes like this, and we find this, as you mentioned, in chapter 17, ayah 1, right? Ayah 1, that Allah commanded this being to allow Muhammad to jump on his back and go from the Masjid al-Haram, Masjid al-Haram in Mecca, supposedly, to the farthest mosque, Al-Aqsa Mosque, Al-Masjid al-Aqsa. So let's see if the Muslims, as they always told us, that this happened from Mecca, supposedly, right, from Mecca to Jerusalem. But that's already a disaster, because in the time of Muhammad, there was no mosque in Jerusalem. But to actually understand where is the real Al-Aqsa Mosque, could there be a possibility that there was a mosque near Mecca that Muhammad used to go and visit and pray in the time of Muhammad in the 7th century? Because as you mentioned, Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem was built by Abdul Malik, Caliph Abdul Malik, and finally finished by his son after his death, by his son in 705. So if we can do some digging, we can find we can find in the Islamic books that actually Masjid al-Aqsa in the time of Muhammad was very close to Mecca, and here's the proof. Here is a book called Akhbar Mecca, a very famous book in the Sunni world, volume 5 by Muhammad bin Ishaq bin al-Abbas al-Fakihi. In this very book, we will see where actually the original Al-Aqsa Mosque was in the 7th century in the time of Muhammad. And we will prove to you that it's certainly not in Jerusalem, but actually very close area between Mecca and Medina. And here is the proof. On page 66, brother, and we scroll down, we find a Sahih hadith. Look, Isnaduhu Sahih, Isnaduhu Sahih. And the hadith number is 2850, right? Please confirm, brother.
Yes, 2850, and it is Isnaduhu Sahih, meaning, as you stated, it's a Sahih, authentic narration.
All right, if we go to that hadith here on top, we see the hadith number 2850. This is the hadith that we see on the screen. Maybe you want to read the hadith, brother, for us?
Sure. I'm just going to start at the beginning. It says, Haddathana al-Zubayr ibn Abi Bakr, meaning the one who narrated to us was, his name is al-Zubayr, the son of Abi Bakr. He says, An Muhammad ibn Tariq, narrated from Muhammad ibn Tariq, that he said, اتفقت أنا ومجاهد, we agreed, myself and Mujahid, بالجعرانة, that's I think an area. فأخبرني أن المسجد الأقصى, he told me that the Aqsa Mosque, الذي من وراء الوادي, which is behind this valley, بالعدوة القصوى, it's also again another area basically related to the location, مصلى النبي, meaning the place where Muhammad prayed, بالجعرانة, again the name of that area. So right there, that's the underlined part. Do you want me to keep reading?
Yeah. No, basically, you already did enough damage, and here is why. Here is the translation. Again, this is the Sahih Hadith that we found in Akhbar Mecca, basically the news about Mecca, by Muhammad ibn Ishaq bin al-Abbas al-Faki, volume 5, page 66, hadith number 2850. And it says, from Muhammad bin Tariq, he said, Mujahid and I agreed to meet in Al-Ju'rana. And this is a very important area called Al-Ju'rana. He then told that the Prophet was praying in Masjid al-Aqsa. Do you see it? So in the time of Muhammad used to go to an area called Al-Ju'rana or Al-Ju'rana, and there was a mosque, a masjid called Al-Aqsa, which is behind the valley, Al-Adwat al-Quswa. So the name of the valley, we even know the name of the valley called Al-Adwat al-Quswa, in Al-Ju'rana. Did you catch it? So
that's right.
The Al-Aqsa Mosque that the Quran is talking about in chapter 17, ayah 1, is actually not in Jerusalem, but in a very close area called Al-Ju'rana, dear brother. And Muslims don't know about this. This is damaging. So later, Muslims wanted to attribute miracles to Muhammad that he never had, and they came with the fabrication, a lie, a myth, that Muhammad went on the back of Buraq, traveled from Mecca all the way to Jerusalem to pray in Masjid al-Aqsa. Well, Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem did not even exist yet because it was later built in the year 705, but Muhammad died in the year 632. Ya Muslimin, this is damaging, and this is a Sahih Hadith. Brother, right. What do you want to say about this?
And I want to say, it's quite possible that the Caliph basically who built it, he built it, maybe used the same name to commemorate this account, if indeed such thing happened. But are you going to show people now on the map where Al-Ju'rana is?
Oh, yeah. If we do a simple Google Maps search, as you see, a Google Maps search, if we put Al-Ju'rana, because that exists in Saudi Arabia, Al-Ju'rana, the same Al-Ju'rana, and we take the second destination, Mecca itself, we see that Al-Ju'rana, where the Masjid al-Aqsa was in the time of Muhammad in the 7th century, here on top, is only a 25-minute drive by car from Mecca. Mecca. So Muhammad actually, when he used to go and visit Al Ju'rana to pray in that mosque called Al-Aqsa, is very close to Mecca. So
Yeah, so
Muhammad,
it's an
there's
Uber
nothing
ride
called, yeah.
basically. You take an Uber ride and it doesn't even cost that much to go there. So maybe it was called that because meaning it's the other mosque, technically speaking.
Exactly, because the closest one was in Mecca, and the farthest one that is, let's say if we let's say Muhammad used to travel by camel or maybe by feet. It's only a couple of hours, but Muhammad never ever. Listen carefully, my friends. Muhammad never ever went to Jerusalem. He did not see Jerusalem. Muslims much later wanted to give Muhammad a miracle which he never had. So Islam is nothing but lies built on top of lies on more lies. Please wake up, ya Muslimin. We do not hate you, but we want to share the truth with you. What your Muslim books are saying. Your Muslim books are saying that Al-Ju'rana was really close to Mecca, certainly not in Jerusalem.
Amen, brother. And again, I mean, I can see Muhammad maybe having a dream about that location. Sure. I mean, we visit places sometimes and we may have a dream, maybe a nightmare, whatever the case might be about something that we're familiar with. But to take that and all of a sudden amplify it and make it sound like he was transported from Mecca all the way to Jerusalem or the Jerusalem area or the compound known Baytul Maqdis, where you have the mosque and we have the Dome of the Rock and all that kind of stuff. Well, historically speaking, it's very damaging because Abdul Malik built this mosque in 691. The Dome of the Rock was basically complete and finished by his son in 705. Muhammad died in 632 AD. Do the math, and you tell me, folks. If you don't see a problem, then we're talking, basically two different things here. Any last minute thing, brother, you want to close this with?
No, the funny thing is that Muslims, and we know what the Islamic scholars say about the nation, the Islamic nation. The nation of Islam are nothing but a illiterate nation. It's an illiterate nation. They don't do their homework. They don't study their books. It's damaging. It's embarrassing that we Christians have to do their homework for them. And when we do their homework for them and we read their books, over and over we see there are no miracles at all. Muhammad did not go to Jerusalem. Muhammad used to only visit a very close nearby masjid, and he called it Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa because it was way more far from Mecca than Masjid Al-Haram that is nowadays in Mecca. So no miracle, nothing.
And here's the beauty about it. Even Google and Google Maps know where Al-Ja'rana is and Masjid Al-Aqsa is. So there you have it. It's right
brother,
here
and you are from Saudi Arabia originally, so you know these places and you know how close Al-Ja'rana is to Mecca. So this is damaging.
Absolutely. Well, brother, thank you so much as always. Thank you everyone for watching. And if you're a Muslim who have just watched this particular show, come to Jesus because Jesus is the only way, the truth, and the life. He will take you to the real heaven that Muhammad alleged that he's been to, whom he says that when he was there, allegedly he looked at his rewards and he looked at the rewards for Abu Bakr, and we told Abu Bakr about his reward. Abu Bakr says, I don't know. I mean, la amanu makrullah, even if one of my feet were in paradise. I mean, that is telling right there. The closest companion to Muhammad didn't even believe that Allah is giving him that rewards, and you're telling me you want to follow a guy that supposedly went just a 25-minute walk or a drive, I should say, to a location, and all of a sudden we have a whole chapter. What a waste of pages, actually, to have a whole chapter with this claim that didn't even take place the way it was explained to us. Thank you, brother. Thank you, everyone, for watching. This is Al-Fadi over and out. God bless. Take care.
So what have we uncovered? The famous story of Muhammad's night journey to Jerusalem simply doesn't fit the historical record. The Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem did not exist in his lifetime. It was built decades later. Islamic sources themselves reveal that the Al-Aqsa Muhammad visited was actually much closer to his Mecca location, in a place called Al-Jurana. This means the entire narrative of a miraculous journey to Jerusalem is a later invention, built to give religious and political weight to a story that never happened. Friends, this isn't about attacking people, but about exposing the truth. The Islam of the standard Islamic narrative is apparently a lie and is based on myths and legends, even when we accept the writings of the hadiths as credible. Now, Muslim friends, think about this. If core Islamic traditions are based on myths, then where is real hope and certainty found? Surely in Jesus Christ, who never deceives and never changes. Like and share this video so others can see it. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more Islamic history content. Stay with us. We'll get to the root of this and find out what the standard Islamic narrative on the Islamic Awareness website is hiding regarding the origin of Islam. Jesus is Lord.